Here is something wild. I once watched a coach with over 30 years of experience get completely overlooked in favor of someone with just 3 years in the field. But why? Because the newer coach told compelling stories which resonated with the client, while the veteran just listed qualifications. If you are using YouTube to grow your coaching and consulting business and you are unsure why your years of experience is not getting you any clients, you might want to stick around till the end because this might be the missing piece that you have been looking for. So, what exactly happens when coaches over 45 try to attract clients online? In my experience, working with business owners who are twice or thrice my age, I see the same pattern over and over again. They list their years of experience, they show off their certifications, and they explain their methodologies. And then they wonder why young competitors with way less experience get more clients. Does this sound familiar to you? Then you are in for a reality check. Does this sound familiar to you? Here's a reality check. Your potential clients are not looking for someone with the best qualifications. They want someone with whom they can resonate to, someone who understands their pain. Like you are watching this video because you understand that I understand your pain. And nothing communicates understanding like a well told story. And let me ask you this. When was the last time someone bought something from you based on your resume? Probably never, right? But I bet you have had clients who say, when you talked about that situation with your other client, it felt like you're describing my exact problem. That's the power of storytelling, my friend. And it's a skill that leverages your greatest asset, your years of real world experience of dealing with problems that your clients face. Alright, so why does storytelling work so well, especially with coaches with decades of experience? Have you ever noticed how people take the same thing differently when you present them as story versus as lists or facts? Here's where it gets interesting for your specific audience. If you are targeting clients who are over 40, 50 or 60 years of age, chances are that they have developed a pretty good BS detector. And I guess you'll be with me on this that they have seen all kinds of marketing tricks and sales pitches over the years. But stories bypass skepticism. They create what scientists call neural coupling. Basically, the listener's brain starts to sync with the storyteller's brain. And if I'm doing a good job, and if I am doing a good job, then chances are that you are getting a live example of this. One of my clients with over 25 years of experience couldn't figure out why his YouTube views were not converting into consultation calls. And the craziest part is their videos were filled with information, lots and lots of information, but they were all facts and figures. So what we did is we sat down and we reorganized the content. And to solve this, we reorganized the content like this. We added a 30-second short illustration. We added a 30-second short story illustrating what problem are we going to solve in this video. And within 2 months, the client calls skyrocketed. So I need you to ask yourself, are you giving your audience information or are you actually building connection with them? Because connection is what converts. You might be thinking, that's great, but I'm not a good storyteller. Good news, neither were my clients when we started working together. And storytelling is really a skill, not a talent. And I've got this super simple storytelling framework that works best for businesses. It's called the RED framework. R stands for relatable situation, something your audience immediately recognizes from their own experience. E is for enlightening struggle, which is basically the obstacle or the challenge, the problem. And D is for decisive solution, which is basically how we can solve that particular problem in a way that others could not. And let me show you how this works with the example of one of my past clients. So let me give you an example. Let's say I'm a public speaking coach who helps executives. So instead of saying I help executives overcome their public speaking anxiety, I can tell this story. I was working with a CEO who needed to present to 500 people at an industry conference. This is the relatable situation. Despite running a successful company, he was so terrified of public speaking that he had actually turned down previous opportunities, limiting his company's growth. He had tried everything from meditation apps to private speech coaching without success. This is your enlightening struggle. This part. We identified that his fear stemmed from a specific childhood experience, and I helped him reframe that memory using a visualization technique I developed over 20 years of working with executives. He not only delivered the presentation successfully but was approached by 3 potential partners. See how powerful this story sounds versus you just listing the qualifications, because you have used it in a real life situation. Now I want you to try it yourself. What's that one client story that you can reshape using the red framework? Pause the video if needed, grab a paper and pen, write it down, have some notes. The key is to make your story highlight a specific problem that your clients are facing. That way, when they hear it, they think, that's exactly what I am facing. Alright, now I am going to give you 3 specific exercises that you can do this week, which will dramatically improve your storytelling skills. These are the exact exercises that I picked from a very successful YouTube friend who happens to be a past client of mine. Now, this is a speciality of myself. I turn clients into friends. So the first exercises is like a story mining session. So block of 30 minutes this week and put a timer of 20 minutes on your clock. Now list down as many client success stories as you can within this 20 minutes, and just don't stop yourself. Jot down your client success stories. Now spend the next 10 minutes selecting the best 3 which will resonate with your ideal client. Those are your first 3 video hooks right there. How many you have decades of amazing client stories which you have not shared because you think they are not relevant? Those stories are gold. The second exercise is 60-30-15 challenge. So we'll take that client story and we'll try to shrink it down so that we can tell that story in just 60 seconds. In the next iteration we'll try to shrink it down to 30 seconds, next time to 15 seconds. What this will do is it will get rid of all the fluff, so you are left with only the important parts that matter, because every second counts. We cannot afford to bore our audience with unnecessary details. Would you be willing to challenge yourself to do this with one story this week? Now, the third exercise is basically viewers question framework. Before you film your next video, just try to write down these 3 questions and try to answer them from your viewers' perspective. What problem keeps them up at night? What solutions have they already tried? And what would solving this problem mean for their life or business? Now, craft a story that will address to all 3 of these questions. This ensures that your story connects directly with their current challenges. One of my clients, who is a health coach, tried this third framework and we could see the change within weeks. People were commenting on his video that you can literally read our minds. And all we did, we were just telling stories that addressed these 3 questions. Storytelling is particularly powerful for experienced coaches and consultants. And this is a simple framework that you can use immediately. And 3 practical exercises to improve your skills this week. And remember that your decades of experience have given you something really valuable, which is real treasure of client stories. Stories that can demonstrate a problem, stories that can inspire a person, stories to demonstrate your expertise in action. Now it is just about learning to present them effectively. Now a quick challenge for you. In your next client conversation, try to bring up a client story for 30 seconds using the red framework. Then come back to this video and let me know down in the comments how people responded to that. You might want to check my free email course, which will help you to cut through the noise and get more business just from YouTube. And if you want to learn how you can start a business from scratch, you might want to check this video out.